All right, welcome to our first official episode of Odd Man Rush. Today we're going to be looking at the Atlantic Division. We'll be giving our predictions, kind of going through each team a little bit, and yeah, we'll rank them as we kind of go through. Hopefully that made sense. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway, Brody,
I
how are
think
you doing
so.
today?
Good. How are you? I'm ready to talk about the most competitive division in the NHL today.
Is that a real? I don't know if you're being serious or not, because like it
Yeah,
kind
a
of
little
is,
a
but
little bit of
like
seriousness, but a little bit of sarcasm. It's a little
I
half
feel
and
like there's
half.
like I feel like there's like three tiers to this division.
Yeah,
There's like your top like premier tier, and there's kind of like your like could be playoff team tier, and then you just have like your garbage at the bottom.
yeah, just
Um,
dumpster fire at the bottom.
yeah, so we'll see how that uh lines up. But yes, we're gonna go alphabetically through each team, and like I said, kind of introduce some of their offseason moves, and then give our rankings for them. See if our rankings line up, and then yeah, and then we can kind of just summarize our overall thoughts at the end here. And yeah. So first of all, the Boston Bruins. Boston last year obviously was a playoff team. Lost in the first round to Carolina, I believe, if I'm right. If I'm
Hmm.
thinking about that right. Um, and this offseason, they obviously re-signed Patrice Bergeron. Brought back David Krejci, traded for Pavel Zacha. Really didn't lose a whole lot. Eric Howlett, Curtis Lazar were kind of the bigger pieces, both of which aren't really like that important to their team. Josh Brown as well, who they brought in at the deadline. But overall, I mean, a team that I think improved upon last year.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely a little. I don't know what to think about Boston because there's a lot of teams in this division. Like we'll talk about later that they just got so much better. Like you got Ottawa, you got Detroit, who's a year older. Buffalo's a year older. So it's not if they're lower on my list, it's not a discredit to them. It's just how much better other teams have gotten. Because I'm not sure what to think about David Krejci, and I'm not sure how he's really gonna play this year. I mean, I think he should be able to do it, but I don't think the NHL is really a league you can just step out of and get right back into it in the swing of things. Especially, there's big question marks while Marchand and McAvoy are coming into the season injured. They could be out. What is it? The first 4 months, I think, that they could
I
be
think
gone.
something like that. Yeah, I think especially
Yeah,
for Marchand, I'm not sure what McAvoy's is, but yeah, I know Marchand's out for a while.
yeah, like that's a big loss. I mean, they still will be competitive even without Marchand, but not nearly to the level here. And okay, so I'm just gonna say my ranking now. I have Boston at 4 in the Atlantic Division.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think David Krejci is going to be a huge like X factor for this team. If
Yeah,
he can come in and be David Krejci, and give them that second line center support that they really missed last season, then
yeah,
this team's gonna be really good again. Uh, I think if they can put Taylor Hall back on his wing and Taylor Hall can be who he was post Buffalo trade a couple years ago, then they're gonna get some really good secondary scoring.
hmm,
A lot of those are big question marks, though. Again, in goal too. I mean, Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. If they're both who do they like playing at their peaks, this could be one of the best goalie tandems in the league. And if not, then this team could be a mess. Uh, Obviously, Bergeron's a year older. Who knows? Like, I'm not going to bet against him not being Patrice Bergeron, but you never know.
hmm,
Obviously, David Pastrnak's playing for a contract, so we know what scorers do in a contract year. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops like 115 points this season because that's just what happens when
yeah,
high-profile players need to get paid. Um, I don't I don't really trust their depth. But again, I mean, they have some interesting names down there. I mean, who knows if Nick Foligno can bounce back and have a bounce back season. Craig
hmm,
Smith, somebody who I really liked when he came over from Nashville, kind of had a disappointing year last year, but again, maybe putting him back on that line with Hall and Krejci turns that around. What are they going to do with Jake DeBrusk? Like, there's so many question marks on this team. However, I'm somebody who will believe in the Boston Bruins until they prove me otherwise. Because they're just slinging the water in New England that just makes teams be good forever. So I have the Bruins third in the Atlantic,
Third.
and
Okay.
it's a very tentative third. I went back and forth between them and my fourth place team, but I have them third. Just because I
Okay.
think a lot of those question marks are going to be answered, and I have a lot of question marks with the teams below them. So
Yeah. I think it really just comes down to how they throw their team out there. Because while DeBrusque, he played insane on that top line for a while there. So if you throw him back there, and if you got Pasternak with Hall and Krejci, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good line to me.
yeah,
And if you get some secondary scoring from your bottom six, like that's a pretty good offense you got there.
I really like Taylor Hall is going to be a big piece of this. Like if he can
Yeah.
get back to being who Taylor Hall was, then they're going to get like miss. They're not going to miss Marchand as much as they probably should. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it's like there's just there's a lot of question marks about a lot of these teams, and that's something I really like about this division as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we can move on to the Buffalo Sabres, who also had an interesting offseason this year. Didn't really do as much as I kind of like hope they would have, but I'm not mad about them just kind of kicking the big spending spree down the line. Obviously, the Tage Thompson contract was a big spend. We can kind of get into that, but
Yeah.
Ilya Labushkin and Eric Comrie were their two real only moves in the offseason. Cody Eakin, Colin Miller, Mark Pissick, and Drake Kajula were the departures. Again, no huge names on that list. Colin Miller, probably the best of that
Yeah.
group, and Ilya Labushkin's probably better at this point anyway. But yeah, Eric Comrie and Craig Anderson as the the goaltending duo in Buffalo worries me a little bit. But where are you on the Sabres?
You know what? I really liked that Eric Comrie signing, and he wouldn't have gotten that money in Winnipeg. And I think he actually played very well last season for the Jets, and he definitely deserved a lot more minutes than he got. And I think in Buffalo, I think he could shine. Maybe not starter, but like solid 1B, maybe even 1A potential. Like he's a kind of guy you can throw out on the tandem every other night, but not starter material.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Eric Comrie had a really nice season last year in Winnipeg. And I think if he plays 35 ish games, 40
Yeah,
games, I think you're looking at a solid goalie. Unfortunately, I don't see Craig Anderson playing 40 games this season, so
no.
I
Substitute
feel like
that
he's going to
with
get
yeah. Substitute
yeah.
that
I
with
mean,
Lukonen at the end of the year. That's what's probably going to happen.
possibly yeah. I could see that being the option here for the Sabres, but I mean, a really young team like their blue line looks like it could pop if
Definitely.
Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin can kind of take that next step. Yeah, this team could kind of surprise people at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, and they ended off last season pretty hot. They were on a good tear there for a little bit. Near the end, they were winning a bunch of games that nobody thought they had any business winning. So they looked like they were having fun doing it. Like they looked like they were really like that chemistry was kind of building in Buffalo. Like with Tuck getting there and Skinner kind of had a little bit of a redeemer year. Definitely not a $9 million year, but definitely $3 million year. So,
Oh yeah,
but yeah, you also have to factor in what Jack Quinn will do this year. I think
that's true
he'll
too. Yeah,
probably step in a little bit.
Daily
Maybe
Faceoff
not
has him
top
on the third
six.
line, so
Yeah, because I don't see him jumping over Olofsson or Tuck in his first
no.
year, unless they move over to the left side and then play with Middlestat and Tuck. But that's still unlikely, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm.
I think this team's like interesting for sure.
Yeah, they're gonna be interesting, and there's a lot of question marks as there usually is with bad teams. But if everybody steps up, they could maybe take a sniff at fifth, maybe. But I have Buffalo at seventh right now.
All right. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Obviously this team has a ton of question marks. Um I don't think we're going to see the same kind of season from Tage Thompson. Um,
Definitely not.
that was a huge gamble of a contract, and it feels very Jeff Skinnery. Um, and but maybe he shoots 15% again and scores 40 goals. Who knows? I think his highest goal season before last season, he scored like 8,
Yeah,
which
that's
is
very sustainable. If
and even his
you know
first
anything about
year
hockey.
in yeah, I think it was his first year in college. He scored 1 even strength goal.
Oh
His
my.
first like his not his draft year, but his first year in college, and it was against like a Division 3 goalie. Like it was just, but
Oh my
I mean, like
goodness.
Tage Thompson is like he's a power play specialist, and if like that's who he is, and
Hmm.
paying him a lot of money to do that is a risk. But it's not like
Yeah.
Buffalo has like a ton of cap issues at the moment, which is insane because
Seems
they
like
have
a
Calaposo and Jeff Skinner on their roster, but this
yeah.
team still has a ton of money somehow.
He seems like a glorified Mike Hoffman, Tage Thompson. That's kind of what I'm getting from him. Mike
Yeah,
Hoffman who plays
yeah, I
center.
can I can see that. Yeah, I'm down with that comparison. Anyway, I have the Sabres eighth.
You have him at eighth. Wow.
Yeah, I'm again like I think it's close between them and my seventh place team. Very similar to where I have Boston. Like I can go either way.
Hmm.
But I don't think Buffalo's gonna be very. I think especially in the East, with how stacked the Metro is. I don't see this team being that good. I think they'll be better than they were last year. Um, like performance wise, I don't know if their record's gonna be much better than it was last year. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think this team still has a long way to go, and I don't trust Eric Comrie to be like their head starter,
Oh.
with like 44-year-old Craig Anderson backing him up. That's my biggest concern with this roster. Really, is the
Yeah.
youth, the inexperience, a drop back from Thompson, and goaltending, and that's just too many question marks for me. But again, like I could see them finishing seventh. I could see them maybe pushing for sixth if everything goes right. But I have them in eighth at the moment.
All right. Are
So
we
the yeah, I think we're good on
all right?
Buffalo.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
On to
The
Detroit.
Detroit Red Wings. Here we go. This might take me like 5 minutes to go through all their ads and departures for this offseason.
Probably, yeah.
Um, Andrew Kopp, David Perron, Dominic Kubalik, Ben Sherratt, Oli Mata, and Ville Husso were their additions. They lost Mark Stahl, Sam Gagne, and Thomas Greiss. Um, I'm going to go out of my way and say that the Detroit Red Wings are the most improved roster in the NHL over this
Yeah.
summer. Whether or not that's actually like a good thing long term is a different discussion. But going from last year to this year, I think this is the most improved team in the NHL easily. Like I don't think that's a
Yeah.
question. Like they added like 2 top 6 forwards. Whether Ben Sherratt's going to play top 4 minutes, they added a starting goalie and they lost Mark Stahl and Sam Gagne. Like,
Yeah. That's pretty impressive.
yeah, where are you on the Red Wings going into this year?
Yeah, there's a couple question marks. I mean, I liked Andrew Kopp's emergence last year, but I'm not quite sure about him on as second line center. But I think he could do it depending on whose line mates are. And I really like the idea of Verona and Kopp together. Like I feel like that'll produce a lot
Yeah,
of points. And another year of Lucas Raymond with Larkin and Bertuzzi, like that's just goals. And then that third line, if it is how Daily Faceoff has it, I think that is would be poised for a Zadina bounce back if you have him playing with Kubalik and Suter. Like that's one of the I'd say one of the more underrated third lines in the league. Like could be a pretty sneaky third line for them. And the fourth line's nothing special, but nothing horrible. And I really like on defense. I mean, I don't like Ben Sherratt. I don't love Olimata. I don't like Ben Sherratt for $2 million for what he's gonna give you, but he got four. So, but Ben Sherratt and Moritz
yeah,
Seider, like, there's no denying that's just gonna be hits on the ice. That's all it is, hits and a
yeah,
little bit of youth offense from Seider. But yeah, and then they got Mata, who played like, pretty all right for the Kings last year. Like, definitely not the old Oli Mata. And Simon Edmondson could be coming in as a rookie. I really would like to see that. Was very disappointed with his World Junior showing though, so hopefully he could
yeah.
have
Was
a
not
good
good.
camp and opening year. And Billy Husso and Alex Nedeljkovic, if one of these guys steps up, this is a pretty good tandem. But I'm not sure about Billy Husso repeating his season. That's my thoughts on them. And I have them. I have Detroit at 6. I really wanted to put them at 5th, but I just couldn't. I had to put them at 6th.
Yeah, I'm pretty well in the same boat with everything. I just think like, and this is more of like a philosophical team building thing more than a like preview of their roster, but I just think they rushed this. Like they could have waited
Yeah,
another
I
year
agree.
to do this offseason. Like you
Right.
could have replaced Andrew Kopp with like a Ryan Strome who got I think less money or about the same in
A little
Anaheim.
bit less, or a little bit less. Yeah,
Um,
I think.
like if you wanted just like a goal scorer in your top six, like you could have just signed Phil Kessel. Like let's be honest, like realistically, right? I mean, whether or not he wanted to go there, like it's fine.
But
But
do they
like you
need
gave
a
David
goal
Braun a
scorer
bunch of
though?
money. Well, he signed Perron. Like I'm saying like
Oh
like
yeah,
as a like plug in for David Perron.
but it doesn't
I mean,
make
you could have signed
sense.
any defenseman over
Yeah,
Ben Sherratt.
any defenseman other. Yeah,
Yeah, like I
could have
just
waited and got John
it
Klimberg.
it just, yeah, no kidding. Um, it just seems like they rush this, and same with the Huso move. Like it just feels like
Mm-hmm.
they now have two goalies who had one good year, and they're banking on one of them being able to repeat that. But at least like
Yeah,
the Nedeljkovic one wasn't really a gamble because like they
because
got
he
him for
was
so cheap.
solid.
But like yeah, and they committed like a lot for like I forget what the Huso contract exactly is, but like
I think
it's
it was
not
4.5 by 4. I think it was the same as Ben Sherratt's.
yeah. It just I don't know. It just feels like this team just kind of went from having a really bright future to now kind of being cap strapped in like 2 years when they have to re-sign all these young kids. It
Yeah,
worries me a little bit. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of their offseason. I've been very vocal about that. They're going to be better. Like I said, they're the most improved roster going to next season. I don't think that's like I don't even think it's close.
no,
Really. But I don't know if it's a long-term fix. I also have the Red Wings 6th. Um I don't think it's as close between them and my 5th place team as it has been for the other two that we've talked about. But I mean,
right.
maybe if Huso and Nedeljkovic can figure it out, then yeah, that tandem could be really good. I just don't like playing Mort Seider with Ben Sherratt. I don't think that's gonna be good for his development. Like
No, I don't think so. I don't, but I
he's
don't
gonna
remember
have
who he was
to
playing with
cover a
last
lot.
year either.
It wasn't good. I don't know who
No,
it was, but it
okay.
wasn't good. I
And
don't think.
also Jake Wallman's injured. I think he was playing with him a little bit. I think that would be
Yeah.
better than Ben Sherratt. Well, anything would be better than Ben Sherratt, but well, anything that's not
Like
Lucas Pisa would be better than Ben Sherratt.
yeah. I mean like I don't know. I mean, maybe if you can get like the Sherratt Weber kind of thing, maybe that's what they're trying to go with here. But like, I don't think Sider's really a Weber archetype kind of player.
No.
So like,
And that Sherratt Weber pairing wasn't that good either.
I mean, it was the best we've seen Ben Sherratt. So
Right, yeah.
I like that's kind of like if you're gonna get the most out of him, like that worked. But I don't like
Yeah.
they've like I know in Montreal like they tried playing Sherratt with younger players and it just didn't really.
I thought he played pretty well with
Like,
Kulak though.
yeah, he didn't. But I think that was more Kulak just being Brett
So
Kulak. But
good.
yeah, I mean it
Yeah.
wasn't bad. But yeah, definitely like the Weber pairing was maybe you could trade for the ghost of Shea Weber. He's in Vegas right now, so there you go. Figure that one out. Steve Yzerman.
That's
Um,
crazy to think about. I always forget about that.
yeah, what a
But
wild offseason this was. It was insane.
I want to go back to the David Perron signing because I'm just thinking about
Yeah,
this now. Why would they sign another goal scorer? Because they already are complaining about Jacob Verana not putting enough goals up. What? Who was it? Someone complained about it in Detroit. Like he's not playing good
yeah.
enough. He doesn't
I mean,
deserve. I
he
don't
did
remember
not have a
who.
good season last year. Like he wasn't
No,
good
but like,
last season.
but why would you add Perron in there when you already have Raymond and Bertuzzi, who are guys who can score? Like, why?
I
Why?
mean,
I
maybe the
don't get
thought is they trade
why.
Bertuzzi at some point, but
Maybe
then you're just getting older. Like I don't know. It just yeah, it's
that doesn't
weird.
make sense. I could
I
see
would have liked
a
them to go get like
Bertuzzi for
a
Konechny
playmaker
swap.
there, but
Yeah,
that wouldn't be bad. I could see that kind of
I would like that.
working out. I mean, just knowing the Flyers though, they probably give Konechny away for Sherratt, so like,
Right.
just do that.
See, maybe
There you go.
that's Yzerman's master plan right there.
Yeah, just do, he's gonna play Ben Sherratt for like give him 26 minutes with Mort Seider and trade him at the deadline. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, for 3 first round picks
Connor
for Connor
McDavid.
Bedard. He's gonna get Connor Bedard for Ben Sherrod.
Jacob Chikrin in the first overall pick for
Yeah,
Bench.
exactly. For Ben. Oh, good old Benny.
All right, but yeah, so that's the Red Wings. I think Detroit's gonna be fascinating to watch this season though. Like I'm definitely gonna watch a ton of Red Wings games.
Yeah,
Um,
I think so.
especially because the like that top six is just fascinating. The Florida Panthers. Boy, I mean, here's another laundry list of names. So in for the Florida Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk, Nick Cousins, Colin White, Chris Tierney, Mark Stahl, and Michael Del Zotto. Leaving the Florida Panthers, Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, Claude Giroux, Mason Marchment, Ben Sherratt, and Nola Chari. Obviously, Giroux was a Giroux and Sherratt were both deadline pickups, but they're still on here regardless. Um, yeah, the Florida Panthers. What a and I mean, I guess you can add Paul Maurice to that list as well
Yeah,
for the additions because I think that's notable. Uh,
definitely, definitely compared
yeah,
to Andrew Burnett. What was his name
Andrew
again? I
Burnett.
can't
Yeah,
remember his name.
I liked Andrew
Yeah,
Burnett
Burnett.
too. I don't know, like, where did he end up? He
I
signed somewhere as an
loved
assistant.
Burnett. He's an assistant coach in New Jersey,
That's what it is. The Devils. Yeah. With
and
Lindy
Andrew
Ruff, who still
Brewer
coaches.
is
That's crazy.
also.
I can't believe
Yeah,
I can't believe Lindy Ruff's still kicking around the league. It's wild.
yeah. Give it a couple years, and then
Anyway,
Burnett's gonna take
yeah.
over.
Oh,
Oh, I
yeah. I
can't
mean, I
wait
hope
till
so.
talking about that.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. But yeah, where are you at on Florida?
Okay, we talked about the most improved team in the league, and this is, I mean, aside from Matthew Tkachuk, this I would say one of the least improved teams. Like they got a lot worse than they were
Yeah,
last season. And I'm not
I agree.
I already didn't feel confident last year on the chances they took on all these players, but without all these other players now, I feel like they had this weird Vegas thing going on where all these players who didn't play good played good together, but now they're broken up. So I don't think they're going to play as well. It's just my theory here I have, but I just don't see it. I don't think the top. I don't think Kachuk doesn't suit that top line as well as Huberdeau did. It doesn't make sense for me,
Yeah, it's fair.
and I don't like the idea of Rudolph Balcers on the second line. Like that is a joke. He had two good games, maybe. I don't get why he's on this team.
Yeah, they don't have
And then
anybody that has any money. That's why.
you got a couple washed up guys in Nick Cousins and Colin White. Like, what is this team? Like, this is a
I mean,
team that
to be
was a
fair,
serious
I like
cup
Nick
threat.
Cousins. I'm
I
gonna
do,
defend
but
Nick
Colin
Cousins.
White,
The day I die. Yeah,
is he
Colin White
still making
stinks.
4.5 million, or did he get bought out?
I think he got bought out. I think he's signed as a
Okay,
free
good.
agent.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
But I
I
do
agree.
think Hornqvist will get a bigger role this year. I don't think he'll be playing fourth line minutes. I think they'll bump him up,
Yeah, I agree.
maybe even the top six.
Yeah, I think he's better than Balsers. So
Definitely. And
yeah, who's
Duclair's
your
injured, so he'll
beside
come back
Balsers?
yet.
Yeah, he'll play in the top six too. That's right.
Yeah. And maybe Lundell will get a crack in the top six because he played really good last year. Then again,
He
he was a little
should.
sheltered, but
But even like like I don't trust Sam Bennett either. Like,
no. I do trust Reinhardt
especially
though.
not.
That is one guy I've been confident with.
Yeah, he had a really nice season last year, and hopefully he can kind of like he can continue to figure it out and
Yeah.
be who he was supposed to be. It was a really good
Yeah.
gamble. That was such a good gamble of a trade when it happened. I was a big fan of that.
Yeah. And on
The blue
defense,
line's rough.
this is just trash. This is
It's not
absolute
good.
garbage. You've got Mark Stahl and Radko Gudas, two guys. I mean, Mark Stahl should still be kicking it, but I don't know how Radko Gudas still has. Like, he's gonna get top 4 minutes next year. Like,
I mean,
that
he's
is
a
a
good like
joke.
DFD, but he's not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was good when he was playing with Brandon Montour, maybe, but
yeah.
or Gustav Forsling because Forsling did everything on the offensive side of the game. But Uyghur is such a big loss, and I feel like people don't actually realize how big of a loss he'll be. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
when
just
Aaron
not.
Ekblad gets hurt for like 20 games again this season, then they'll know. That's when they'll figure
Yeah,
it out.
they're gonna have Radko Gudas on the top pair, so they'll figure it out pretty quick.
I mean, I love Aaron
And
Ekblad. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy, but like,
yeah, me too. I'm hoping he has a
yeah,
good year. I
like,
have his rookie card, so I'm hoping he
yeah,
plays
he's
well. I need some money on my rookie card I have.
Yeah, no kidding.
And yeah, this defense, like Lucas Carlson, like if I'm not mistaken, I did like him in Columbus. I think that's where he came from.
Yeah, yeah,
But I just don't know. I don't know what to expect. Like I feel like this team, aside from Radko Gudas, I think they'll just be good in transition. That's really it.
yeah.
Like
But even like
transitionally, I think
the
they'll be
defense, I
very
don't
good.
feel is that. I don't know if this blue line's that great at getting the puck out of their own zone though. Like
No,
overall.
I don't think so.
And that was kind of my issue with the Ben Sherratt trade when it happened too, was that like Florida was such a good transition team. They were like the best team in the league because all their wingers like pushed, and it was just like
Yeah,
it was crazy to watch them play. And Ben Sherratt couldn't do that. And you look at this defense, and they got rid of like I think arguably Mackenzie Weegar was better at it than Ekblad is, and they didn't replace them with anybody. Like they
no,
got Mark Stahl. Like
yeah.
that's
Oh
it's
man,
not like
yeah.
the team isn't built for what like the defense isn't built for what the offense is good at. And I think that's a
Yeah, that's a
big
perfect way
problem.
to put it. Yeah,
And like this isn't like the NHL of even 10 years ago where you can kind of get away with that, but like with the way that like offenses are going into like a 5-man unit, it's just not like you have to be complementary to your other to the other half of the game, and I just don't think Florida did a good job addressing that this year. Although I do
no,
think they're going to win the Matthew Tkachuk trade, obviously, in like 3 years. But
really.
this team got like, oh yeah, I mean, well, you're paying Huberto till he's like 39,
Yeah,
and
true.
like, and Kachuk's making less, and he's like 5 years younger. Like, I think
That is true.
like they're gonna be worse next. They're gonna be worse next year, but eventually, like that trade's gonna look awful for the Flames. Um, but like as of now, like this team is a lot worse than they were last season. Um, I don't trust Bobrovsky and Spencer
No,
Knight,
and
but
or
again,
Spencer Knight
like
even.
yeah, I mean, but hey, if they break out, like we said this for like every team so far in this division, if their goaltending just figures it out, um, maybe this team's gonna be really good. But I think the best analogy I saw for the Florida Panthers, and I love this. I was talking to one of my friends about it. This team, and it's mostly because of the Paul Maurice thing, but this team's literally the Winnipeg Jets without Connor Hellebuck. Like
Yep,
that's who they are. They have a really, really high effective offense, a really bad blue line, but they
yep.
don't have the best goalie in the world. And
No,
that worries me with this team, especially in this division. That's really, really good at the top. Um,
yeah.
and you didn't say where you have the Panthers ranked. I have Florida fourth.
I
Um,
have Florida fifth.
ooh, okay.
I did have them earlier, but the more we've talked about it, I've actually switched my ranking. I did flip it around, but we'll find out later. I had them third originally, but I've been getting
Okay,
lower and
yeah.
lower the more I think
I was
about it.
flipping I was flipping them in Boston around. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I have the Panthers fourth. I still think they're gonna fight for a playoff spot. I still think this offense is really good. I mean, Alex Barkov's he rocks. I still think Matthew
yeah,
Chuck's one of the best. Like he's still gonna be really good. He's not gonna be as good as he was last year, but I like it. I mean, Carter Verhaeghe's like super underrated still.
yeah.
If Aaron Ekblad's healthy, he's going to be one of the best defensemen in the NHL. So this team has like pieces, but they don't have any assets to improve the team either. Like they don't have a first round pick for like 6 years or something stupid like that. Like it's insane. And
And
it's
their
just
prospect
like
pool is pretty weak.
because they went all in last year and then they got like
Yeah,
stomped by the Lightning. Just
yeah. You were talking about it with Detroit, but Florida kind of rushed. But they were never in a rebuild stage. They kind of just went for it. They went for a couple
no. I
gambles
mean
on a
like I don't
couple
mind that like
guys.
but I mean when you win the President's Trophy, I'm fine with you kind of going all in.
Yeah,
Um but it just wasn't they did win the President's Trophy, right? Like I'm not losing my mind.
yeah, they did.
Pretty sure it was them. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Um, like yeah, I don't mind that as much as the Detroit one, and I don't think their window's like completely closed because I mean getting Matthew Gitchuk kind of like reopened that door a little bit because of how young he is. Whereas
yeah,
like Huberto and Uyghur are both going to like be on the wrong side of 30 right away. So I
yeah,
respect that, but this team's going to be worse than they were last season.
for
Um,
sure.
but they kept their window open a little. So like it's a trade off, and they're going to suffer the consequences now compared to 3 years from now. But yeah, um,
Yeah,
it's really interesting. It's gonna be interesting when we put all together a whole East here because I don't know. I mean, I did the whole Florida's not a playoff thing team lot last year and they won the President's Trophy. So I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
gonna do that
ouch.
again, but I still get DMs about that. It's really funny. That posted really well though. Uh,
Yeah, that's a way to go well.
yeah. All right, the Montreal Canadiens. Another team I'm really interested to watch, not just because I'm a Canadiens fan, but because I
Right.
think that they're going to be really exciting. Um, but anyway, the additions Kirby Doc, who they still haven't signed, but I'm assuming is going to sign. Evgeny Dadonov and Michael Matheson. The departures Jeff Petrie, Shea Weber, Alex Romanov, Ryan Paling, and maybe Carey Price. Maybe? Question mark.
Right.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Not really. Apparently he's not playing this season, but who
Again,
knows?
wow.
Yeah. That's what the I think it was Ken Hughes put out a thing saying that he doesn't expect him to play. And based on the fact the Canadians are like negative $3 million in the cap right now, he probably like isn't going to be able to anyway.
Right.
Um, yeah, Montreal,
Yeah.
give me.
You know what? Not much to say. I don't think we'll even. I don't know. I'm not even sure if we'll see a Slavkovsky debut this year. Like I don't know if he.
It's Montreal. They're
Not.
gonna rush him in. Like, let's be honest,
Yeah.
they're gonna play
Right.
him. It's
But like,
Montreal.
who do you kick out though? Is a real question. Like, you can't. Like this team is pretty much. Like his team has a full. I would say almost every player on this team should be on an NHL roster in
Well,
some
Byron
form.
was like on LTIR for most of last season, so I'm not sure if he's playing. Same with Duran.
Oh right.
Duran apparently is
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Interesting.
And they could still make a trade. I mean, they still have to make a trade because Kirby Doc's not signed yet, and they need the money for that.
Right.
So
And they have Sean Monahan, who's not on here because he's injured, I guess.
yeah, I don't even know if he's going to play. Let's see. I mean, he probably will, just based on all like the publicity they put. I forgot about Monahan. That's what I missed. Yeah, they traded for Sean. They got a
Yeah.
first round pick for Sean Monahan.
Yeah, that's good value, actually. Good move.
Yeah, it was a really good move. I like that. I mean, it's a free first round pick for like a year of Monahan, who you can literally just eat half his salary and trade at the deadline to some team
Exactly.
for like a fourth round pick. Like,
Yeah.
that's not gonna be a hard
Yeah.
sell.
No. But yeah,
Um,
I'm just a little unsure about this team. I mean, I think this team could score a lot of goals. I mean, you have Caulfield and Hoffman. Josh Anderson sometimes can
yeah.
score, mainly because he doesn't pass the puck, but he does score. And I don't
Yeah,
know
I mean,
what's
even like
happened
the
to
secondary
Brendan.
scoring, like Dadonov's not bad as like
Yeah,
a
he
third
can.
liner.
Yeah,
Like he's overpaid, but he's not like that's not a bad third liner. He had a good year in Vegas last year.
yeah. I do
So
like him on the third line. I'd rather have him on the second line though, with Dvorak and Anderson than Drouin. But
that's fair. But yeah, I mean, if Duran's healthy, like when Duran's been healthy, like at the start of the year, like he's also shown like flashes of being able to score. It's like this team's gonna be like they have a lot of potential to pop. Not like pop as
right,
in like make the playoffs, but pop as in like be a decent
not
offensive
be in
team.
last place.
Yeah. And then we
But
get to
yeah,
the
I
blue
do
line,
like.
which is a lot less
Yeah,
good. But
I mean, I do like Michael Matheson over Jeff Petrie, and I never thought I'd say that, but I do.
I don't like Michael
I
Matheson as my number one defenseman.
No, no, definitely not. I mean, Joel Edmondson has played well, I guess. Justin
Yeah,
Barron's young. Jordan Harris is young. Chris
yeah.
Weidman played good somehow lately.
NHL All Star, Chris Weidman. I'm locking that
Yeah.
in. I don't know last year.
Oh my goodness,
Um,
that would be quite something.
yeah. I mean, he was really good last year. I made a post about it.
He
Like he
was.
rocked. He was
Yeah, he was
actually like
good
really underrated. Um, yeah. I mean, I expect Caden Gooley to also play. Um, on here, I expect him to play over
instead of
like
Jordan
Barron and
Harris.
Harris. Honestly,
Oh,
probably over
okay.
Barron. But I think all three are going to play at some point. Um, yeah. What Montreal needs to do is just play all their young kids. Just play everybody who's under
Yeah,
the age of like 22, and just let them be bad. Like really, that's what they need to do. Just accept it. Just let them grow through it. And the thing I really liked about um, Martin St. Louis last year, although I don't trust him as a head coach long term, but he literally like he just took like the handcuffs off everybody. He's like just go out there and play. And the second half, like post St. Louis hire, like everybody. needs to develop on this team had a really, really good second half. I mean, Cole Caulfield just popped off in the second half of
Yeah.
the season, especially. And I mean, Nick Suzuki had a better second half. Like that's what you need to see if you're the Montreal Canadiens. Like winning games at this point does not matter, but you need to see that development because that's something this team has not been able to do for years. And I think having a coach that's just going to let players play is absolutely the right move. And whether or not St. Louis is a long term, like going to be able to manage games late or whatever, like that doesn't matter at this point. They just need somebody who's going to like develop. And
Right.
I think he was a really good hire, and I think he proved that last year. So again, like if this team can't be judged on wins, they're going to be bad. I have them seventh. I could easily see them going to eighth, but I think
Yeah.
their offense can be able to pop off more than Buffalo as well. That's basically what it came down to for me.
Yeah.
Um, I, like just play the kids. Just play play Caden Gooley 25 minutes a night if you have to. Like I don't care. Let these
Yeah.
kids let them make mistakes.
Right.
That's how you develop players, and that's what so many teams don't do. This is the
Yeah.
perfect opportunity to do that, and hopefully they do because
Yeah.
that would
Hopefully.
be like the best. And trade Josh Anderson.
Yes.
Do
Yeah.
that too.
That is
Get him off the
that is urgent.
please. Trade him for Anthony Bevelier, like just straight up. There you go.
I don't even think
Figure it
Lou
out.
is dumb enough to do that.
There was a rumor that they were going to do that, and he's going to toss a pick
Really?
in too. It's wild. Yeah,
Oh my
I don't know. It was
goodness.
like it was a story like before the draft, and then like when the Islanders trade happened, I kind of figured that's what it was going to be, and then it wasn't. So even Kirby Doc,
Yeah.
like play like I'm not a big Kirby Doc fan. Play him on the second line. Screw Christian
Right.
Dvorak. Doesn't matter. Like just play everybody. But yeah, seventh place. This team's not going to be good. They're going to be awful.
Yeah. I have them at eighth. I didn't say before, but I do have them at eighth. I trust Eric Comrie more than I trust Sam Montembeau. That's really what it
And
came down
Jake
to.
Allen. Yeah.
Oh, Jake
Also
Allen,
trade
yeah.
Jake Allen. Yeah, eat half his salary,
Really?
trade him at the deadline, get him off the team because he's a free agent at the end of the year. Just eat half his salary, trade him to the Golden Knights. They need a goalie. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Give Vegas
They
another
need
like
they need five
like
goalies on their
decent
roster.
backup goalie. Yeah, Vegas needs
Yeah.
5 goalies who stink. Maybe one of them will have a good season.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
That's the Vegas method.
all right, the Ottawa Senators. Another team that was really fun. This has been such a crazy. Like I'm just going through this. It's like this was a crazy offseason. This is so much fun. Um,
This was
O-
crazy.
Ottawa's a team that did a lot of stuff. Obviously the Alex DeBrincat trade was pre-draft, but they also signed Claude Giroux and got Cam Talbot. Connor Brown, Matt Murray, Philip Gustafson, Colin White, and Chris Tierney were all shipped out. Um, yeah, Ottawa, Alex DeBrincat, Claude Giroux,
I
Cam Talbot.
really like Ottawa this year. I am I'm expecting Tim Stutzel to absolutely break out. Like I'm calling it he's gonna put up 60 or 70 points at least this year. Like
That's
minimum.
fair. I
He's
wouldn't be
putting up
surprised,
60 points. Like he's gonna play
especially
so
playing with
well.
DeBrincat.
He'll be with DeBrincat and
I could see it.
Giroux, I'm guessing, all year.
Yeah,
And that is going to be electric. Like I'm probably gonna try and watch every Senators game I can. Because I feel like the league is just looking like it's getting more fun. Like it's more
oh yeah,
goals. But
yeah.
again, goalies are random, so maybe they'll just get bigger pads or something. I don't know. But
Expand the puck,
we're
shrink the net.
also have to talk about Travis Hamonic on the top pair for Ottawa. That's
Oof, yeah.
a little chaotic,
So
but
Pierre
I
Pierre
do
McGuire decided to leave his mark before leaving, before getting fired.
the
Just
shortest tenure in NHL
this, guy,
history.
this guy's
Pierre
really good.
McGuire.
Let's burn a fourth round pick for him.
We could have got him
All
for
right.
on free for waivers, but let's give a fourth for him. Yeah,
I don't expect
I
that to last, but
no,
we'll
probably
see.
not. But I really like this team's depth. Like Matthew Joseph on the third line with Pinto, who's young, Formanton, who's also young. Like I think it's got a lot of potential. And I also do like I even like that fourth line. I don't really know who Parker Kelly is. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't paid attention
It's not bad.
to who
Yeah,
Parker
it's not a
Kelly
bad
is,
fourth line.
but
It's fine.
I do like the idea
The
of Jake Sanderson and
yes,
Brandstrom.
yeah, he needs
I
to
also
play. Branson
liked
needs to play.
I also like Delzato a lot. I think that is a bigger loss than like I like him more than I like Travis Hamonic. A lot more.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Um,
But yeah. And goaltending, I think their goaltending definitely got better. I like Cam Talbot more than I like Anton Forsberg,
sure.
but Cam Talbot can be a little shaky. He did play like he played for a team that's very good defensively but had very bad goal save above expected. Like him and Fleury both were brutal.
No, Flurry's
Like goal
just
save expected
washed,
why.
but we'll get into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll
I
get into that in a bit.
but I do like this team. I actually have them at third place. I think they'll even win
All
the
right.
first round. That's
Ooh.
my hot take.
Well, if they're playing the Leafs, then of course. Uh, um, yeah, I have Ottawa fifth. Um, it's a tentative fifth again. Like I think third to sixth is pretty liquid for me. Um,
Yeah.
I like I same thing. I really like their top six. I still think this team needs a year of kind of like maturity before I see them actually compete for a playoff spot. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I think they're one of those teams. They're kind of like where LA was for me last year, where it was a team that I actually predicted to. Well, I had them ninth, I think, in the West. LA, yeah, something like that. But like I wouldn't have been surprised if LA made the playoffs. Would not be surprised if Auto makes the playoffs this year either. It feels like the same kind of like timeline in the rebuild. I still think they need a left defenseman. Maybe that's Jacob Chikrin. Apparently, the asking price is ridiculous, but we'll see. Maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. I can't think of another left defenseman on the trade block right now. But yeah,
Yeah.
they need somebody to play with Thomas Chabot. That isn't
Brendan
Travis
Dillon's on the
Hamonic.
market. Or not on the
I mean,
market.
that wouldn't.
Should be on the
I feel like
market.
that would
Brendan
be
Dillon.
yeah. Bring Demelo back. Just do that.
Don't do that.
That'd be
I
great.
like DeMello too much
Yeah,
for
Demelo
that to
rocks.
happen.
Yeah, I mean the goaltending is again just like every other team in this division outside of the Tampa Bay Lightning is
Yeah.
shaky,
Outs-
and I don't
outside
trust it.
of outside of Andrei Vasilevsky, it's shaky.
Outside of the second best goalie in the world, this division
Yeah.
does not have very good goaltending, but it
No,
could be
not at
really
all.
good.
It
But
could be.
like,
You never know.
yeah, I don't mind Anton Forsberg though. I mean, Cam Talbot looked really good 2 years ago. He didn't look very good last year in front of a very good
Yeah.
defensive team. So like it's hard to say. Thomas Chabot I think really pops off this year. I think he had a great season last year. Um, I think he just improves on that, especially with the offense he's gonna have in front of him. His power play numbers gonna be ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Stutzla. I don't think Josh Norris is a true first line center though. Again,
Yeah.
especially in this division, that I think center depth is actually pretty good overall in this division. That might pose a problem. But yeah, I mean, this seems to be really fun to watch. They're kind of like Montreal, but pushing for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
They're both gonna be entertaining to watch. Um, but yeah, I have them fifth, uh, in that wild card bubble
Right.
kind of area. All right, the Tampa Bay Lightning, three-time Stanley Cup finalists, 2 out of 3 years Stanley Cup champions, but they couldn't win the real one, so none of them count.
None of
This
it
team's never won a
matters.
Stanley. This team's only won one Stanley Cup
Yeah.
when it matters. Fight me. They added Vladislav Nemestikov, Ian Cole, and Philippe Myers. Plot, McDonough, and Ruda are gone. They re-signed a bunch of guys to varying degrees of quality. I have, or I guess, yeah, go through Tampa first, and then we'll
All
go
right.
through it.
You know what? What is there much to say? It is Tampa Bay. They are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to do it in style. I mean, they have Brandon Hagel, who's pretty good on that second line. Nick Paul is on a weird contract, but
Yeah.
they have Ross Colton, who's just going to Ross Colton his way through the NHL. So there's that. That guy's pretty good. Um, that fourth line is so old, but so good. Just a bunch of NHL journeymen over there. I don't know how that works so well.
It's experience.
and
It's all that locker
I
room
guess so. It's the
chemistry.
veteran presence. That's what it
That's what
is.
it is. Patrick Maroon walks into the room, like clangs his like 7 Stanley Cup rings on the whiteboard, and just fires the boys up. That's what he does.
And
I'm telling you.
this defense is just weird. Like, I mean, I expect a huge year from Cal Foot, though.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially playing with him in all
Sergachev,
season.
yeah, Sergachev is making bank. Don't know if that's
For some
deservingly.
reason. Yeah.
Eric Chernak, who's been pretty
Also
good.
making
Like,
bank.
yeah, but he's been pretty good. Like, his contract was
Yeah.
more worth it than Sergachev's.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ian Cole, who I've always been a fan of. I think I definitely like him on the third pair. And Bogosian, who just plays good in Tampa.
Yeah.
Not sure. He just likes the beach life.
Not
I'm
good
not
anywhere
really
else.
sure.
But
No. And then you got Andre Vasilevsky and Brian Elliott. So that's
yeah.
that's the
Well,
Tampa Bay
Vasilevsky's gonna play
Lightning.
like 80 games anyway, so we don't have to worry about
Yeah,
Brian Elliott. He doesn't matter.
he's just there for a cup ring. That's all he's there
Pretty
for.
much, yeah. Yeah. This is like it's like what like the Cavaliers did in like when LeBron was signing 1 year deals. They signed a bunch of like got like old players for like vet minimums just to go to NBA finals. That's what this team is. Um the one thing the Lightning need to do this season is at the trade deadline, whoever's first in the West, just trade them Corey Perry. That's the move. And then
Yeah,
just hope that team gets the cup final. That's it. That's
trade
the
him to the
big brain play.
Avalanche.
Just trade him to Colorado for like a 7th. Give them a first round pick to take him, and then just make the cup final, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, a
Um,
conditional first round pick. You only get it if
if
you
you
make
win,
the cup final.
no, I mean obviously Tampa is going to be really good. Like this team's
Yeah,
obviously a cup contender. You don't go
always.
to 3 straight Stanley Cup Finals and not
And then
be
not be a contender.
like a cup contender. I actually don't mind the Nemestikov
Hmm.
reunion. I think he'll be interesting. I don't think this team has like the biggest strength for the Lightning over their 3 cup runs was secondary scoring. I
Hmm.
don't think they have that as much this year. Although I like their bottom 6, I don't think it's like it's not going to give you that like Blake Coleman, Andre Palat kind of offense that they were getting before. Obviously, they're going to get a lot of that from the top 6, so it's not like I'm worried about this team not being able to score. But when it comes to playoff time, that's kind of an issue. Same with their blue
Right.
line. I think losing Ryan McDonough is going to hurt um, when you
But they
get
got
down the
Philippe
stretch.
Myers.
Who I don't mind. Like I don't mind Fleet Myers.
Really,
But
I thought he
he's
was
not.
only bought for the cap because I knew you get a cap. You get money by buying him out. I remember always hearing that. Like that, there was a
Yeah, he
sweepstakes
wasn't.
for him.
Did they buy him out, or am I just?
No, they re-signed him to a pretty like I think
Yeah,
he
okay,
got 2.5.
that's what
Like
it was.
he's
Yeah, so
making
like,
money.
yeah, like he's not a bad like bottom pair kind of guy. He was better in Philly. I thought I saw a lot of like he had decent potential there, and then he just kind of like fell
Went
apart
to
in Nashville.
Nashville.
So yeah, um, yeah, I just don't
Where
trust
do you
their
have
bottom
Tampa?
6 to be. I have them first in the Atlantic, so I want to preface that by saying like I think this team is going to be really good,
Really?
and a lot of that's on goaltending. We'll get to
Right.
goaltending in a second, but um, overall roster, I think if goaltending was even, I'd probably have them second in this division, but
Right.
goaltending is not even, and Toronto's goaltending stinks. But we'll
Yeah.
get there. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like Steven Stamkos still rocks. Nikita Kucherov like is awesome. Braden Point probably bounces back. Cirelli probably bounces back. I'm not worried about the Tampa Bay Lightning at all. Also, this team really hasn't had a fully healthy roster for any of their cup runs, which is kind of scary. So,
Yeah.
like, I even with the guys they lost, I'm not worried about this team really falling off. I mean, John Cooper's one of the best coaches in the league. They'll figure it out. Until they don't, it's very much like a Boston thing. Until this team doesn't make the cup final, you can't really take them out of that contention
Right.
race. So,
Yeah.
where do you have
I need to
Tampa?
get better at saying where I have the team because
Yeah,
I'm always ending it off. I have Tampa at second.
that's fair. I mean, I could, go back and forth. Again, there's 3
I
tiers
just
to this
think
division.
Yeah, I only like Toronto because they're such a regular season team, and like I think they're very
That's
good at
true.
doing well in the regular season.
So you have Ottawa beating Tampa Bay in the first round.
I think they could do it. I think they might. Like I don't think they
Okay.
will. I think they might.
Now it's locked in. You said it on air. I'm
I,
clipping
I
that.
said it on here, but I'll bet on it. I'm
That's
sure the
that's
odds are
amazing.
crazy for that.
Oh, the odds would be ridiculous. Yeah, it'd be nuts. Do it now before they make the playoffs.
I should, yeah.
It really has to be
Live on
right.
the show, betting on.
All right. Finally, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, you have them first. I have them second.
Right.
Spoiler. Uh,
Yeah.
Another team with a big list of roster turnover.
Yeah.
Kelly Yarncroc, Adam Gaudette, Nicholas Aube-Kubel, Jordy Ben, Matt Murray, and Ilya Samsonov were brought in. Jack Campbell, Ilya Mikheyev, Andre Cachet, Ilya Labushkin, Jason Spezza, Colin Blackwell, and Peter Mrazek are out. The Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Give,
Their first line. I love this first line. They play so well together. They'll repeat that. Um,
yeah, okay. Fair enough.
my really only question mark with the Leafs is their bottom six. Like it's just weird. It's very random.
I've never
You
heard that one
have
before. Is bottom six a question mark? It's a new one.
yeah, I
Top
do like
scoring in
Abi
Toronto? Are you
Kubel.
kidding me?
I do like Abi Kubel and Yarncroc, but I don't
Yeah.
I don't love David Kampf and Pierre Engvall is just he's just Pierre Engvall. Like I'm not sure what to think about him. I know he always plays well in the third line, but he's not like he's nothing special. Is him. Like he's just a really boring player to me. Like
You,
he's just like soup. He's just plain.
you just got to bring a Rapham poster to a Leafs playoff game with
Yeah.
Pierre Engvall's stats on it, and the team wins. That's how it works. Shout out to those guys who we know, friends of the show. But that's great. That's the best play. That's the best moment of the playoffs, easily. Twitter blowing up over a Pierre Engvall Rapham chart in Jurassic Park. That was awesome.
And this defense, I do love the defense actually.
Yeah,
I mean, I love
Giordano,
the idea.
950K guy. Love it.
Yeah, that is amazing. I love the idea of Riley and Liljegren. I actually hadn't thought about it till now, but I do think that would play very well together. And Muzzin and Brody would also be very good together. But I think Giordano and Sandine, like that's your dream top six. Like Justin Hall just needs to
Yeah,
get out of here.
yeah, I
But
agree.
I would love, but he also hasn't signed yet. I don't think so. That's probably
Yeah,
why.
apparently that's like the one RFA thing that's not going well right now
Okay,
is the
yeah,
Rasmus Sandin one, from what I heard, according to Puck Soup like 3 days ago. It's
okay, yeah,
not it's not going well. But I mean he's an RFA, so they'll probably figure it out. Or
right,
they'll just trade him for Patrick Kane. One of the
or that, yeah.
two.
And then on to the most dreaded part of the Toronto Maple Leafs is their goaltending. My hot take here is Ilya Samsonov comes out of camp starter. Like he's starting game one.
Yeah, probably.
He's much better
Yeah.
than Matt Murray ever will
Yeah,
be.
Matt Murray
Like I
stinks.
am I'm a huge Samsonov fan. He's not special, but he is much better than Matt Murray.
Better than Matt Murray, yeah.
If Matt Murray didn't play for the Sioux
Yeah.
Greyhounds, he would not have an NHL spot. Like that's the only reason he's on this team.
They know how to work that magic in
Yeah, something
Toronto.
in the
Don't
water
worry.
in Sault Ste. Marie.
Yeah.
Or just Kyle
It's
Dubas
just
loves his hometown, I
that's
guess.
just how you work. That's how to work for the Leafs. Just live there. Just be a part of that community.
Yeah, they have 10 amateur scouts in Sault Ste. Marie as we speak.
Really? Is that actually true?
No, but it could
Oh,
be.
okay.
You
Oh
would never
shit.
know.
They're just all wired into the Toronto like headquarters. Yeah, no, I'm basically in the same boat. I think yeah, secondary scoring worries me. But it's the Leafs, so that's just, it's the way it goes. Um yeah, I mean, if they can get Sandin signed, that would be a huge help. Like Rasmus Sandin's awesome.
Right,
Um ah, Goaltending is the thing. And I don't understand why they traded like there were so many other options, especially for that cap hit. Like
right.
like Varlamov was sitting on the market. You could have just done that. Like you could have signed Eric Comrie for nothing,
Is
and that would have been
Varlamov still
better.
unsigned?
No, he's just like the Islanders are probably gonna trade him, or they were
Oh
going
right.
to. Like it
Okay,
was
I thought
very
he was free
likely that
agent.
like
I don't know why.
no, no, he was. But like he has like 1 year left on his deal, and Sorokin's gonna be starting. So it was like just apparently they were gonna move him, but who knows? Maybe they have, and we just don't know because Lou Lamoriello just won't tell us until like
Maybe
December.
it hasn't been processed yet by the league.
Yeah, he'll just show up at some random team's training camp in like a week. That's all no. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about Toronto. I mean, this team's going to be really good in the regular season. And if for all of you guys paying attention at home, they're going to play the Boston Bruins in the first round of the playoffs. So I totally didn't set that up just for the joke. 100%.
Oh,
It'd be great. Uh, yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the year this team has to figure it out. And Kyle Dubas going all in on his goaltending in his Stanley Cup window, being Matt Murray and Ilya Samsonov, uh, is the thing. Because now they're locked into that. Because if they stink, you can't move them. Like it's not
no.
happening. Like it's done. This is the bet they took with this window, with the Austin Matthews window, and I don't know if I like that very much. That's the only reason why I have them second too, is because I just don't think this goaltending is gonna be able to figure it out.
I just don't
Um,
know why they didn't go all in for Jesper Wallstead in 2020. Like, do you
I
remember?
mean,
Like, I remember like watching
yeah,
that.
I
Like,
mean, well, he went like
the
20th
Oilers
anyway,
passed
right? Like,
over him, and then
yeah,
the Leafs were gonna trade for him, I think, but they ended up not. Like, I'm sure Jesper
yeah,
Wallstead right now would be better than Matt Murray or Ilya Samsonov.
probably. I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, just like there's so many other things they could have just kicked goaltending down the road. They could have just signed 2 random guys and just had them play.
Right.
Like Philip Grubauer was $1 million more. They could have just done that. Like
Yeah.
they really didn't need to do this move, and it wasn't the right. I mean, maybe it was because goaltending is weird. Matt Murray's going to win the Vezina this year. It's going to be insane.
He's the next
Um,
Frederick Anderson.
yeah, it's going to be crazy. He's literally going to be Frederick Anderson, or Jack Campbell, who stunk before he came to Toronto. Like,
Yeah.
so who knows? But I mean, he does have 2 Stanley Cups, so we've
Right.
seen him go on crazy runs in the playoffs before, and maybe that's all Toronto's betting on is that like he's going to be bad in the regular season and then just go to the playoffs and be unreal.
Yeah.
But this is really the year Toronto needs to figure this out. Like they need to do something this season, or else this thing's going to get blown up for better or worse. And I'm still
Yeah.
not in the camp of blow the team up. I don't think that's the right move to make, but if they don't figure it out this year, they're going to have to. Just with media
Right.
pressure and everything, they're not going to have a choice. So
It'll be the finally of the year we see Nylander traded after
yeah,
all
after
these years
like
of trade
7 years,
talks.
yeah, it's like he's going to be a UFA before he gets traded. But yeah, so what were your final rankings for the Atlantic?
Okay, yeah. Here,
We'll go through that,
I'll go
and you
one
kind
to
of like
eight.
give tentative playoff spots too
Okay,
for your
yeah.
wild cards. Not official,
Okay,
but just
right. Because we haven't got to the other ones yet, so I haven't
we
planned
haven't
this
done the
out
metro
yet.
yet, of course. So
I have Toronto 1, Tampa
hmm
2,
okay.
Ottawa 3, which I did not want to have, but I do have it,
Sure,
just because that's how it's worked. It's very
yeah. Pierre
confusing, but
Dorian
that's,
like force your hand. That's okay. I get it.
yeah.
Okay,
It was
he's holding
Shane
you at
Pinto,
gunpoint. It's
friend of
okay.
the show.
Yeah, I get it.
Boston Bruins at 4. I have the
Mhm.
Panthers at 5, Detroit at 6, Buffalo at 7, and Montreal at 8. But I did say before I have Ottawa beating Tampa, and I have Boston beating Toronto. And then I actually have
Okay.
Ottawa beating Boston, so Ottawa's going to the conference final.
All right.
You heard it here
And
first.
you don't have Florida in the playoffs
N- Uh, no,
tentatively, of course.
I have them missing. I have
Okay.
Boston taking the wild card, and then the other Metro team taking the fourth. Actually, I don't even know if Boston would take that wild card. Like it's
Yeah,
very
but just yeah,
yeah. I don't think
it's up in the air.
Florida will make a wild card though. I think they'll miss the playoffs.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't see 5 teams coming out of either division. So
No.
more likely out of the Atlantic. Like I see 5 teams coming out of the Metro more likely than 5 out of the
Yeah.
Atlantic. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have
Exactly.
Tampa 1, Toronto 2, Boston 3, Florida 4, Ottawa 5, Detroit 6, Montreal 7, and then Buffalo 8. Um, so pretty well. I mean, we have the same kind of like I said, this division is very much a tier based division. I think
Yeah.
it's the only real division like that, honestly. Maybe the Central is the other one, kind of like
Yeah.
this, and then I feel like the Metro and the Pacific are just kind of like you could just pick names out of a hat for the most part. Um,
Right.
but yeah, so that's the Atlantic for me. Playoff teams, I probably have Florida in as a wild card,
Okay.
and then I have Ottawa missing as of now,
Yeah.
but we'll see. And then obviously Boston and Toronto is going to go Game 7, and then you can figure out who I have winning that series.
It'll be 4-1 Toronto with 13 minutes left in the third period.
And the Boston Bruins signed Zdeno Chara off of on free agency the day before the game.
Yeah.
Just cause bring the
Bring
boys
him
back
in.
together. I think Tuukka Rask's the free agent too. Bring him back.
Bring him in. Yeah.
I'm sure Gregory Campbell's kicking around. You could probably sign him too. All right. Well, that is our Atlantic Division predictions and the first episode of the Odd Man Rush. So, anything you wanna plug before we get out of here?
Yeah. Just follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Oddman
Oh, yeah, we're not on
underscore
Twitter.
rush underscore pod.
For
Yeah.
both.
So we are actually on all the socials now. Actually, just
Yeah.
TikTok yet, but we'll see
Oh
about
yeah.
that.
We're gonna get there
We're gonna get there. It's a work
eventually.
in progress.
It's
Rome
really
wasn't
hard to
built in a
sign
day.
up.
Okay.
It's really hard to put your email into the box and
Yeah, it
sign up.
is. It's very hard. Yeah. Chinese government spying, like this is some scary stuff we're dealing with here. We're putting our lives on the line to bring you the best hockey content right now.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, we're being hunted right now. Um, yeah, yeah. So oddman underscore rush underscore pod at Instagram and Twitter. The links are everywhere.
Yeah.
Something on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Watch the videos. You can listen on Apple and Spotify. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NBI underscore hockey. I think it's the same for both now. Pretty sure I changed
It
it, but
is.
anyway, you can figure that. I'm glad you know, because I don't. But yeah, so yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed.